always thought marrying your best friend was the safest decision you could ever make. No secrets, no surprises, just trust and comfort. That's what everyone told me. But no one warned me what happens when that comfort turns into a cage. Ethan and I met in college. He wasn't the guy every girl wanted. He was the guy every girl trusted. When my relationships failed, he was the one who stayed. And maybe that's why I thought he was the one. We didn't have a big wedding. Just close friends, simple vows, and a promise to never let life change what we had. And for the first year, it felt perfect. He'd make me coffee every morning. He'd call me his lucky charm. We had dreams, plans, even a list of baby names. But somewhere between friendship and marriage, something broke. The man who used to listen to every word I said started tuning me out. The one who cheered for my success started competing with me. It wasn't one big fight that ruined us. It was the silence, the slow distance, the kind of loneliness you feel while sitting next to the person you love. But I didn't know the real reason until I found her. And that's where everything changed. It started with small things. Late-night messages, sudden smiles at his phone, the way he'd lock the screen the second I walked in. At first I told myself, he's just stressed. We were both working long hours, and I didn't want to be the paranoid wife. But my gut wouldn't stay quiet. One night, I opened his phone, and right there, under a contact named Ben from work, was a thread of messages that made my heart stop. The messages weren't romantic. They were emotional, deep, personal. He was talking to her about me, about how I'd changed, how I didn't understand him anymore. Her name was Maya, someone we both knew, someone from our old friend group. The kind of woman you never think would betray you because she smiles too sweetly. I stared at those messages for hours. Not because he cheated, but because he chose her to confide in, not me. The same man who once said, "You're my home," was now finding comfort somewhere else. That night I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I just went quiet. Because sometimes silence is louder than any fight. But what I found next was worse than any message. And that's when I realized this wasn't just emotional cheating. It was something much darker. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw their names light up on that screen. But something told me there was more. Ethan was careful with his phone, but not his laptop. And what I found there broke me in a way I can't explain. There were emails, old ones, from before we even got married. He had been talking to Maya for months. While I was planning our wedding, he was telling her how he felt trapped, how marriage wasn't for him. And yet he married me anyway. Smiled through vows he didn't believe in. Held my hands, knowing his heart was somewhere else. It wasn't an affair that ruined us. It was the lie we built our love on. You can forgive mistakes, but how do you forgive someone for pretending? That morning, I looked at Ethan, still asleep next to me. And for the first time, I didn't see my best friend. I saw a stranger wearing his face. But I wasn't ready to leave. Not yet. Because before I walked away, I needed him to know that I knew. "Ethan. Morning, babe, you're up early." It was the same smile he'd given me 1,000 times. But now, I could see the lies behind it. Her softly. "Who's Maya?" "Ethan." "What? Who?" Her sharper. "Don't do that. Don't lie again." For a second, I saw panic flash across his face. Then came the excuses. The justifications. The half-truths people tell when they're caught. "Ethan. It's not what you think. She's just a friend." I was venting, that's all. Her. "You were venting about me? To her? While you were planning a life with me?" I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just stared at him long enough for him to understand that I knew everything. Ethan quietly. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you." Her coldly. "You didn't just hurt me, Ethan. You killed the one thing we had left, trust." And in that moment, I realized something. The person I loved most was capable of destroying me. And yet, I still wasn't ready to let go. Because sometimes, walking away feels harder than staying broken. But then she reached out to me. "Yes, Maya. Maya, can we talk?" My heart stopped. Of all people, she was the last one I expected to reach out. Part of me wanted to delete it. Pretend I never saw it. But another part, the part that still needed answers, hit call. "Maya, nervous?" Hey, I didn't mean to cause trouble. I needed to explain. Her steady but cold. Explain what, Maya? That you were texting my husband behind my back? Maya, it's not what you think. Ethan told me you two were falling apart. He said he felt lost. I thought I was helping him. I swear, it wasn't supposed to go that far. Helping him. That's what they always say, isn't it? But where does help end and betrayal begin? Her flatly. You knew he was married. You were at our wedding, Maya. Maya tearful. I know. And I hate myself for it. But he told me things that made me believe you didn't love him anymore. And that's when I realized she wasn't the villain of my story. She was another version of me. Someone who fell for his words, just like I once did. When I hung up, I didn't feel anger anymore. Just sadness. Because for the first time, I saw the truth. Ethan wasn't confused. He was a man who needed to be needed. And he used both of us to fill his emptiness. And that's when I decided if he couldn't choose, I would. But leaving him wasn't as simple as walking away. Leaving should have been simple. Just take your things and go. But when love turns into history, every item feels like a memory. I packed my favorite sweater, my journal, the coffee mug he bought me on our first trip together. But when I reached for the door, I heard his voice behind me. Ethan, quietly. You're really doing this? Her. I don't have a choice, Ethan. Ethan, desperate. Please don't go. We can fix this. I'll go to therapy, Her, cutting in. You can't fix something you chose to break. Ethan. I messed up. But you're my best friend. I can't lose you. And that's when it hit me. That's all I was to him. A safety net. A comfort zone. Someone who made his life easier. Not someone he truly loved anymore. Her. You already lost me, Ethan. You just didn't notice when it happened. She walked past him. He didn't stop her this time. As I stepped outside, the air felt heavier than ever. But there was peace in that pain. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from what once felt like home. But just when I thought it was over, I got a message that changed everything. From Ethan. There's something you don't know. And suddenly, I was. Ethan. Please. Just hear me out. It's not what you think. Part of me wanted to block him. But curiosity is dangerous, especially when it comes dressed as closure. I opened the message. Ethan text. I didn't cheat on you. Not the way you think. Maya was helping me with something I couldn't tell you. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. After everything, this was his excuse? Then he sent a photo. It was a hospital file. His name on it. Dates going back 6 months. Ethan was sick. Not dying, but battling something I never knew about. He had been seeing doctors, keeping it from me. And Maya, she wasn't just a friend. She was his counselor. All that time I thought he was betraying me. He was just hiding his pain. And I hated myself for not noticing. For being so busy feeling unloved, I never saw he was falling apart. Her whisper. Why didn't you just tell me? Another message came through. Ethan text. I didn't want you to stay out of pity. I wanted you to stay because you loved me. And just like that, all my anger turned into heartbreak. But love built on secrets. Can it ever survive the? I told myself I wasn't going back. But after that message, I couldn't just leave things unfinished. I needed to look him in the eyes and hear the truth from his lips. Ethan quietly. You came back. Her firm but calm. Just to talk. Nothing more. It felt like déjà vu. Only this time, I wasn't the same woman who once begged him to choose me. Now, I was here to understand, not to stay. Ethan softly. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to see me as weak. When the doctors said chronic heart condition, I panicked. And Maya, she was assigned through work. I swear it wasn't personal. Her. You could have told me, Ethan. We promised each other honesty. That was supposed to be the foundation of us. Ethan, voice breaking. I know, and I ruined it. You were the one person I never wanted to lie to. But when I started losing myself, I didn't know how to let you in without losing you too. Hearing him like that, I didn't feel anger anymore. Just exhaustion. Because sometimes love doesn't die with betrayal, it dies with sadness. Her softly. I forgive you. But I can't stay. Not because I don't love you, but because I finally love myself enough to walk away. Ethan looked at the ring as I slid it toward him. Tears filled his eyes. I stood up and turned toward the door. Forgiveness doesn't always mean going back. Sometimes it means setting both of you free. But as I walked away that day, I never imagined what he'd do next. It felt final. Like I was closing the last chapter of a book I'd loved for too long. But life has a way of writing endings you don't expect. My phone buzzed. A voicemail from Ethan. I pressed play. Ethan voicemail week. Hey, it's me. I don't know if you'll listen, but thank you for forgiving me. You were right. I should have told you everything sooner. I'm heading to the hospital now, just in case things get worse. Don't worry about me. Just be happy, okay? The rain got heavier. My heart did too. Because suddenly all the anger, all the heartbreak, didn't matter anymore. All I could think about was getting to him. When I reached the hospital, they wouldn't let me in at first. Then a doctor approached me. Dr. Gentle. Are you Ethan's wife? He's been asking for you. I walked into the room. He was pale. Fragile. But when our eyes met, he smiled. Ethan weakly. I told you, you'd always be my best friend. I took his hand and sat beside him. In that moment, I realized something. I didn't come back because I still loved him. I came back because part of me would always care. Even if our story had already ended. Sometimes closure doesn't come in words. It comes in moments like this. But love stories don't always end in goodbye. The rain had stopped. The storm outside, and the storm in my heart, finally calmed. I had forgiven him. I had walked away. And yet somehow, I had returned. Not for love, not for him. But for peace. Ethan weakly, voice trembling. I don't deserve you, but I'm glad you came. Her calm, gentle. You don't need to deserve me, Ethan. You just needed me to be human enough to care. One last time. Sometimes life doesn't give you perfect endings. Sometimes it gives you closure. Sometimes it gives you a moment to say, I forgive. I move on. And I live. Her softly, almost whispering, Goodbye, Ethan. And as I stepped out into the sunlight, I realized something important. Marrying your best friend doesn't guarantee happiness. But learning to love yourself, that's what truly sets you free. The biggest mistake of my life became the beginning of finding myself.